This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, please visit librivox.blogsome.com. Today's reading by Chris Gorringe, an international episode by Henry James, LibriVox Section 6. It may seem perhaps a trifle singular, but it is nevertheless true, that Bessie Alden, when he struck her as dull, devoted some time, on grounds of conscience, to trying to like him more. I say on grounds of conscience because she felt that he had been extremely nice to her sister, and because she reflected that it was no more than fair that she should think as well of him as he thought of her. This effort was possibly sometimes not so successful as it might have been, for the result of it was occasionally a vague irritation, which expressed itself in hostile criticism of several British institutions. Bessie Alden went to some entertainments at which she met Lord Lambeth, but she went to others at which his lordship was neither actually nor potentially present, and it was chiefly on these latter occasions that she encountered those literary and artistic celebrities of whom mention has been made. After a while she reduced the matter to a principle. If Lord Lambeth should appear anywhere, it was a symbol that there would be no poets and philosophers, and in consequence, for it was almost a strict consequence, she used to enumerate to the young man these objects of her admiration. "You seem to be awfully fond of those sort of people," said Lord Lambeth one day, as if the idea had just occurred to him. "They are the people in England I am most curious to see," Bessie Alden replied. "I suppose that's because you've read so much," said Lord Lambeth gallantly. "I have not read so much. It is because we think so much of them at home." "Oh, I see," observed the young nobleman. "In Boston." "Not only in Boston. Everywhere," said Bessie. "We hold them in great honour. They go to the best dinner parties." "I dare say you are right. I can't say I know many of them." "It's a pity you don't," Bessie Alden declared. "It would do you good." "I dare say it would," said Lord Lambeth, very humbly. "But I must say I don't like the looks of some of them." "Neither do I, of some of them. But there are all kinds, and many of them are charming. I have talked with 2 or 3 of them," the young man went on, "and I thought they had a kind of fawning manner." "Why should they fawn?" Bessie Alden demanded. "I'm sure I don't know. Why, indeed?" "Perhaps you only thought so," said Bessie. "Well, of course," rejoined her companion, "that's a kind of thing that can't be proved." "In America they don't fawn," said Bessie. "Ah, well, then, they must be better company." Bessie was silent a moment. "That is one of the things I don't like about England," she said. "You're keeping the distinguished people apart." "How do you mean, apart?" "Why, letting them come only to certain places. You never see them." Lord Lambeth looked at her a moment. "What people do you mean?" "The eminent people, the authors and artists, the clever people." "Oh, there are other eminent people besides those," said Lord Lambeth. "Well, you certainly keep them apart," repeated the young girl. "And there are other clever people," added Lord Lambeth simply. Bessie Alden looked at him, and she gave a light laugh. "Not many," she said. On another occasion, just after a dinner party, she told him that there was something else in England she did not like. "Oh, I say," he cried, "haven't you abused us enough?" "I have never abused you at all," said Bessie, "but I don't like your precedence." "It isn't my precedence," Lord Lambeth declared, laughing. "Yes, it is yours, just exactly yours, and I think it's odious," said Bessie. "I never saw such a young lady for discussing things. Has someone had the impudence to go before you?" asked his lordship. "It's not the going before me that I object to," said Bessie. "It is their thinking that they have a right to do it, a right that I recognise." "I never saw such a young lady as you are for not recognising. I have no doubt the thing is beastly, but it saves a lot of trouble." "It makes a lot of trouble. It's horrid," said Bessie. "But how would you have the first people go?" asked Lord Lambeth. "They can't go last." "Whom do you mean by the first people?" "Ah, if you mean to question first principles," said Lord Lambeth, "if those are your first principles, no wonder some of your arrangements are horrid," observed Bessie Alden, with a very pretty ferocity. "I am a young girl, so of course I go last. But imagine what Kitty must feel on being informed that she is not at liberty to budge until certain other ladies have passed out." "Oh, I say, she is not informed," cried Lord Lambeth. "No one would do such a thing as that." "She is made to feel it," the young girl insisted, "as if they were afraid she would make a rush for the door. No, you have a lovely country," said Bessie Alden, "but your precedence is horrid." "I certainly shouldn't think your sister would like it," rejoined Lord Lambeth with even exaggerated gravity. But Bessie Alden could induce him to enter no formal protest against this repulsive custom, which he seemed to think an extreme convenience. Percy Beaumont, all this time, had been a very much less frequent visitor at Jones's Hotel than his noble kinsman. He had, in fact, called but twice upon the two American ladies. Lord Lambeth, who often saw him, reproached him with his neglect, and declared that, although Mrs. Westgate had said nothing about it, he was sure that she was secretly wounded by it. "She suffers too much to speak," said Lord Lambeth. "That's all gammon," said Percy Beaumont. "There's a limit to what people can suffer." And though sending no apologies to Jones's Hotel, he undertook, in a manner, to explain his absence. "You are always there," he said, "and that's reason enough for my not going." "I don't see why. There is enough for both of us." "I don't care to be a witness of your reckless passion," said Percy Beaumont. Lord Lambeth looked at him with a cold eye, and for a moment said nothing. "It's not so obvious as you might suppose," he rejoined dryly, "considering what a demonstrative beggar I am." "I don't want to know anything about it, nothing whatever," said Beaumont. "Your mother asks me every time she sees me whether I believe you are really lost, and Lady Pimlico does the same. I prefer to be able to answer that I know nothing about it, that I never go there. I stay away for consistency's sake. As I said the other day, they must look after you themselves." "You are devilish considerate," said Lord Lambeth. "They never question me. They're afraid of you. They're afraid of irritating you and making you worse. So they go to work very cautiously, and somewhere or other they get their information. They know a great deal about you. They know that you have been with those ladies to the Dome of St. Paul's and... where was the other place? To the Thames Tunnel. If all their knowledge is as accurate as that, it must be very valuable," said Lord Lambeth. "Well, at any rate,